My god, everything just changed on the War Within beta. What is up, the guys? This is Cobb, and welcome to some updated patch notes, which I'm going to give a quick run through and then show what this means on the War Within beta by actually going over the talent tree a little bit itself. Everything has changed. Holy crap, dude. Alright, man. So first of all, we've got the hero talents here. We've got some changes to the Diabolist tree. So the cast time of Infernal Bolt has been increased to 2 seconds. Was 1 second. Alright, cool. Ruination, which is just the big dunk, right? The meatball that you drop out of the sky. Damage is now reduced beyond 8 targets. I guess it was just too OP for PvE AoE. Overlord, Mother of Chaos, Pit Lord are now visible to other players at a reduced scale and will retain their original scale for the summoner. Honestly, I wish they just reduced the size of them for everybody. Look at this. And here he comes. Ha! I don't need all this wing action on my screen, Blizzard. Thank you very much. I know he's the Pit Lord and he's cool and all, but and he gives us a little cast while moving skill, and that meatball hits like a truck, and that's awesome. Dude, the summons that we're spawning don't need to be that big. Let's just make them miniature as hell. Or better yet, let's just have them not exist at all, and we just get the spell effects just popping out of me. That would be way cooler. Or you know what? Instead of summoning the Pit Lord, just have some big old green wings pop out of my character and flap a little bit as I shoot a big green fell beam or something, you know? I'm channeling the Pit Lord that way, you know? I just want less clutter on the screen. That'd be grand. It's a big drawback, honestly, of running Diabolist, and yeah, it's quite off-putting, man. Anyways, back to the notes. Next up, Overlord now charges its target rather than leaps. Fair enough. And the Mother of Chaos's Chaos Salvo visual has now been updated. Honestly, really quite minor. I didn't even notice any difference at all when I checked it out. Okay, man. Next we've got some Hellcaller changes. Seeds of their Demise has been redesigned for destruction. Blackened Soul damage is increased by 30%. When Blackened Soul deals damage, you have a chance to gain 2 stacks of Flashpoint. What does that mean? Just switching on over to the Hellcaller build right here. Okay, so this is Blackened Soul. Of course, spending soul shards give you a chance to increase your Wither stack count, which is just instant cast Immolate for the purposes of this Hellcaller build. And yeah, Seeds of their Demise, there it is, man. So you gain stacks of Flashpoint. The talent Flashpoint for Destro is the Haste stack. So when your Immolate deals periodic damage to a target above 80% health, gain 2% haste for 10 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. Honestly, it's quite easy to maintain 3 stacks of Flashpoint, at least in PvP. It's not that big of a deal. I guess in PvE, this is going to be much more useful for keeping those stacks up. It will help you get the stacks a bit faster in PvP, but besides that, yeah, for PvPers, this wasn't really an issue keeping up these stacks, but still, funky little change. Also, the next change was Zevrim's resilience healing was increased by like 90% because it was completely trash. Honestly, I still think it's completely trash. It's just better than the alternative. You know what I'm saying? Dark Pact heals for some health every second while active. In PvP in particular, Dark Pact tends not to stay active for very long. Let me tell you something. You'll be lucky if you get like 1 or 2 seconds of healing from this. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, look at that, actually. I've got it popped right now. I just popped my Dark Pact randomly. Yeah, look at this healing, dude. 13k, 14k-ish healing every second. Look at our health. This thing is still trash. It should be healing for like 2% or 3% of your max health per second. Now, that's an actual real heal, you know? What it's doing currently? I don't know what the hell it's doing currently, man. And the rest of these changes right here, this is just for Demonology and Affliction. I'm going to scroll down real slow here. Pause anytime if you want to read the Affliction and Demonology changes. They're gone. Oh my god, dude, they're gone. Okay, onto the good stuff. Onto the stuff that really matters, right? The Destro changes. Look at all of this. Bro, let me tell you something. I was whining about the talent trees for Destro, saying that there were very few options, very few paths that you can actually go down. A lot of mandatory talents right at the end that really pigeonholed you into going a certain direction down the tree, and there was really like only 2 points or something that you had some freedom with. This helps quite a bit, man. Is it perfect? No, but it's a good start. So new talent, Unstable Rifts. Bolts from Dimensional Rift deal 25% of damage dealt to nearby enemies as fire damage. Pretty cool. We've also got Chaos Incarnate has been redesigned. Case Bolt, Rain of Fire, Shadowban always gain at least 70% of max benefit from your mastery chaotic energies. Has that been redesigned? I swear that's what it did before. It's a bit of a mediocre talent still, but there it is. Next up, we've got Dimension Ripper has been redesigned. This one actually has been redesigned. Incinerate has a chance to tear open a Dimensional Rift or recharge Dimensional Rift if led. So if you do not scale into Dimensional Rift on your talent tree, then instead, Dimension Ripper is going to give Incinerate a chance to tear open rifts, right? Don't know what the probability is for this, the proc chance for this. I wish they'd include that son of a gun on the tooltip, But there you go. Next up, we've got Raging Demon Fire now extends Immolate by 0.5 seconds. It was only 0.2. Pretty lackluster before. Not too bad now. If you want to try out a Demon Fire build, which I'm quite excited to give a try, to be honest. I've always been a big Demon Fire hater, but, you know, we've got options now on the tree, so it could be kind of cool. And now we've got just a lot of talents that have been moved around a lot. Okay, so it's better just to kind of tab back into the game at this point to investigate those. And welcome to my abomination of a build. As you can see, a lot of things have changed here if you've been keeping up with the beta and what the talent trees look like so far. Infernal used to be down here in like the bottom right. Now the Infernal talents are right smack in the middle of the Destro tree, so every Destro Warlock can now pick up Summon Infernal, which is great because Crashing Chaos was one of those talents that you honestly could not do without. It was too crucial. Summon Infernal increases the damage of your next 8 casts of Chaos Bolt by 25%. Bro, that's massive. Okay, so it's nice to see this in the middle of the talent tree. It means that we actually get some options now, particularly in the bottom right side down here, where a hell of a lot of things have changed. So checking out the bottom end of the tree real quick, the Soulfire and Decimation talents are unchanged, but we have improved. Chaos Bolt has been moved up a tier, so it's no longer a bottom tier talent, right? Which is great because, again, it's kind of mandatory. In fact, honestly, this should be even lower. If it was up to me, I think that this is crazy mandatory for every Destro Warlock of every stripe, and so kind of sucks that you've got to go so far down in the tree to pick this up. But yeah, reduce the cast time of Chaos Bolt, enough said really. We do have an icon change here for Ritual of Ruin, so this isn't like anything new, it's just an icon switch up at this front. And then if we move on down to the right side here, this is where quite a few changes have begun to rack up. Ruin is now on the left side of the tree, and Ruin feeds into Dimensional Rift, which is just down here. And then the bottom 2 talents are that Unstable Rifts. So Bolts from Dimensional Rift now deal 25% damage dealt to nearby enemies as fire damage, meaning just a hell of a lot of AoE from your rifts. And so maybe you go down on a path where you like pick up Ruin, head on down to maybe Diabolic Embers, or even through Power Overwhelming, and instead then pick up Dimension Ripper and just spamming Incinerates for like a PvE style build, and you're just proccing all kinds of free Dimensional Rifts like very, very consistently. Definitely a lot of funky things going on with this. Anyways, the build that I'm looking at right now is just a Channel Demon Fire style build. Do I believe in this skill? Obviously not, you guys know that I don't, but yeah, just trying it out, man, with the good old Raging Demon Fire upgrade, which, yeah, gives you a further increase of duration on your Immolates, or in this case, Withers, which are obviously much, much more powerful versions of Immolate. We also have Demon Fire Mastery, increase the damage of Channel Demon Fire by 30%, and it deals damage 35% faster. Do I think that this build is actually going to be something that I would use in PvP? Probably not. But if we just smack something with it real quick, we pop the little haste buff here, blah, blah, blah. Throw out some damage, and then bam, Channel Demon Fire, and it casts like pretty quickly, to be honest. And if it's single target, it kind of smacks. It's sort of like a Chaos Bolt. I don't know, dude. Not great, not terrible. Is it worth putting all 3 talent points into this just to make it viable? Probably not. Let's tweak up this build just a little bit, man. And so I'm thinking a build would have to include these 3 talents right here. Just pulling all 3 talents out of the Demon Fire skills to instead get Explosive Potential, 2-second cooldown reduction on Conflag, go into Ruin, grab Rift, Dimension Ripper, that kind of thing. I think an interesting decision to be made now is whether or not Avatar of Destruction is actually worth it anymore. Why? Because I swear to God, it wasn't included in the patch notes, but bro, check this out, man. Let me just get the stacks to summon this son of a gun. Okay, here we go. Remember this guy used to spam his Chaos Bolts, dude? Well, now look. Ooh. He's like way more balanced now. In fact, he only gets off 3 Chaos Bolts, and that's if the target stays in range. If you're in something like PvP, might still be good for PvE, of course, but for PvP, like, those are some slow-ass Chaos Bolts, man. And if you're bursting the crap out of somebody and they decide to kite you a little bit, he might only get off 1 or 2 casts. And so I'm not 100% convinced anymore that Avatar of Destruction is absolutely mandatory, and I'm wondering instead if you value the Dimension Ripper and you see yourself actually just using more Incinerates to supplement your damage, you could pull a point out of Avatar of Destruction and slot it into Burn to Ashes instead and just clock in that extra Incinerate damage. That is definitely a possibility. I can't really see where else you might want to pull a point from, unless you give up a point in Dimension Ripper and go Burn to Ashes instead. But hey man, I throw it over to you guys. What do y'all think, man? I think I'll stick with this as the build for the time being on this character. What do you think of the changes, man? I think that they freed up a couple more extra points just by moving the Infernal down a bit. That's very, very nice change indeed. I don't think that much changed, to be honest, but it's overall pretty positive changes, and I'm pretty pleased with it. But hey, man, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all did enjoy this one. If you did, make sure to hit like on the video and subscribe so you're more likely to catch future videos covering some War Within Destro action. And I'm going to catch all of you guys just a tad bit later, man.